Welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast, and I'm back with Phillip James Latham for another episode of what's been going on in the cannabis world uh, for the last couple few weeks, months that we've gotten together and whatever. First, I want to say thank you for being here, and I wish peace to everybody watching this around the world and around the country. And hopefully, we get all through this together in one piece. So, welcome back to the show. What's been going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for having me. I don't even remember how long it's been since the last time we got to do one of these, but I appreciate the invitation and the discussion that I'm sure we will have going forward. But in terms of latest and greatest, I just had another movie come out. My latest project is titled Missing 411 National Parks, Washington State. We went up and we were, I would say, investigating, but I don't when you started talking to the family members and stuff, like that's kind of a misleading sentiment about what we were actually doing. Basically, just documenting the kind of weird disappearances that have been highlighted in Dave Paulides' book, Missing 411 Washington State. Pretty wild that people could just literally vanish in the wilderness. I mean, wild to think about, but also like wild in the wild. Just like you go into these national parks and it's just like this expanse of wilderness that seems to kind of never end. And like every once in a while, if you're off the road, you can kind of hear civilization, but you get far enough away, like it's wild. And then there's like eerie stuff that you kind of get the heebie-jeebies about when you're in the national parks that people are kind of hush hush about. And then, one of the biggest things about it is the federal government actually says that they do not officially maintain a list of people that have gone missing in national parks and actually pressure families in some instances to get a death certificate so that they're taken off the rolls, whatever that means. Since they don't keep a list, what lists are they removed from? Anyways, don't
Hmm.
think too hard about it. Um, yeah, so one of the things that we're probably going to effort for a future project maybe is trying to get an interview with the head of the Department of Interior because that's the federal institution that governs the National Park Services and the National Forest Service and all that kind of stuff. To just kind of talk to them and say like, hey man, like all these people are missing and their family members obviously don't get to have the closure of actually like finding out what happened to them. Can we kind of do something about that? But yeah, so it's out on Amazon Prime, Google Play, YouTube. It'll be on YouTube Movies if it's not already. I think it is. Platform called Vudu. Um, but yeah, if you go to missing411.com, it's got links to a bunch of the different platforms. Or you can go to intelligentmedia.com and I have the link to the Amazon
There you
site
go.
on my website.
Sick.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. But other than that, man, just trying to keep the lights on, keep the family fed, and keep it trucking.
Yep. I think that's what most people are trying to do these days. And hopefully they get some sort of enjoyment out of watching this and us ramble about some cannabis stuff and millennial stuff and current event stuff. And speaking of current events, let's go ahead and kick off the first topic that I'm sure everybody is aware of, that it is, according to the what's it called? Military, their the draft age is now rising to 42. Let me get this pulled up real quick. According to The Guardian, U.S. Army raises upper age for recruits to 42 and scraps marijuana restrictions. And I wanted to bring this up because it just shows that they can do whatever they want when it comes to marijuana convictions, whenever they want to do it. For example, U.S. Army has raised the maximum age to 42 years old, scrapped a barrier who have a legal conviction for marijuana or drug paraphernalia possession. This is where it gets interesting, actually. The Army has removed restrictions upon recruits who have a single conviction of possession of marijuana or associated items such as bongs, pipes, and spoons.
People still using spoons to smoke.
Spoons is a different drug, ladies and gentlemen. Um, that's not how you smoke cannabis. Uh,
You've never freebased flour?
Pop can, used pop can,
Yeah, that works
so I
too.
can't really say too much. That's that's aluminum, smoking
Yeah.
aluminum.
I mean, dude,
Um,
I used like one of the first times I ever smoked, a friend of mine like literally rolled aluminum foil around a pencil and then just crimped the
oh
end.
God, yeah,
So yeah, dude.
awesome. Yeah, I'm sure anyone that has experienced that back in the day is can empathize with you, especially, Apple. Let us know in the comments what's the craziest thing you've ever, smoked out of uh, Apple for.
Crazy, craziest thing was me and like one of my best friends from back home. We found a rainmaker in my buddy's basement of his mom's house, and we knocked out the end and like drilled a hole in the other end, like on the top of the dried cactus. And then we dumped out all the things that made sound, but we didn't really think to like wash it out or anything. So the first thing he like took a rip, just got nothing but like dust and like awfulness that he just like inhaled deep in his lungs. I was like, oh no, that was a terrible idea.
Yeah, we hindsight's always 2020 and it's great. Um,
Definitely.
After missing its recruitment target by 25% in 2022, the U.S. Army has changed its approach to attracting more people into the forces, including targeting more Gen Z applicants. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's more of like, hey, if you don't come here, we'll just drag you here.
Yep.
Called draft.
Yep.
Um, but we're kind of looking at a more mature audience that might have experience in technical fields, the Chief of Military Personnel, U.S. Army said. We need warrant officers with extreme technical capabilities, and those will come from enlisted ranks. Um, what technical capabilities would anyway, I don't want to go down that road. But so good news is they have waived marijuana convictions. Bad news is it's so you can join the military.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, balance, right? We talk about
Hmm.
balance. There's your balance.
The give and take, man. It's a give and take. They give you the carrot. At least we didn't. At least it's not the stick yet. The stick
Stick.
of the
It's
draft is
totally
coming.
stick it right up our, you know,
Yeah.
without any cannabis oil. Um,
Yeah.
and what was the next thing you wanted to talk about, man? That's pretty much it for that first article. I don't really know what else really to say about it besides, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but that's
Most of my if we're doing stereotypes, my stereotypical impression has always been that if you are a heavy cannabis consumer, you're very likely anti-war.
right, right. And even a lot of libertarians or like right-leaning stoners, whatever that
Hmm.
means, would say the same thing. A lot of them are military veterans smoking or consuming for PTSD. Um,
Hmm. That's true.
and so they're very anti-war and pro-medicine. So it's speaking of medicine, we all know that Trump rescheduled cannabis to Schedule 3. But did you notice the
But
other day he mentioned in a tweet or a truth or something that we have to protect the 2A people? And I randomly brought it up the other day, and I think he's referring to the cannabis Supreme Court lawsuit coming up this
that would make
summer,
sense.
near the end of summer, because it could go one of two ways. They could say, hey, all mentally ill people with cannabis don't get guns. We can come and take your guns if you really want to get dystopian about it. Or they'll say, I mean, think about this. Think about this. Cannabis, if it wins the Supreme Court decision, which I think it's gonna save the Constitution.
Hmm.
Cannabis is gonna save the country.
I mean, it's the same stuff that the paper that it's written on is made out of. So yeah, there you
It
go.
just comes full circle, and it brings people together, and
Sure.
but it's more than that. Like you said, it is the backbone of what this country was founded on. Somebody said to me the other day, hemp isn't a real thing. It's all cannabis. And I was like, you're kind of right, you
You're
know?
not wrong.
And that's
Yeah.
what I said. I was like, you're not wrong on that.
Which is, I mean, so I think we've talked about this several times previously, but like this has kind of always been the thing that sticks in my side. Is like I like it's the stigma of the getting stoned side of the equation that I think gives people the scapegoat for not supporting the potential industrialization adoption of hemp as a commodity, as like a utilizable
You're not
asset.
supposed to enjoy medicine.
But even beyond that though, like just hemp itself as a commodity and the utility plant that it could be if it had the institutional framework and support that all these other huge agricultural industries have.
Yep.
Dude, think about if there was like a big ag commission, the way that there's like big sugar, big meat, big lumber, big whatever. If there was big hemp, it would literally like put other big industries in the
All of
rearview
them.
mirror.
All
Yeah.
of them.
And, I think that for a long time now, it's been, the let me make the most potent concentrate possible to get as high as I possibly can that they all point at and go, see, these people are just out here trying to like get inebriated and don't have anything productive to contribute to society. But
Hmm.
that actually brings up the Ohio story that we were talking about earlier in terms
Hmm.
of stoners
Yeah.
not being useless. So Brett was telling me earlier about Ohio, the voters came out and rejected the like industry proposal for how it was going to be structured when it was basically just going to be a concentrated monopoly of a couple companies. That right there, in my opinion, kind of points to the fact that, not all stoners are stupid, and some of them actually choose to read legislation and get themselves informed so that they can make, the best decision for the industry or other things that they might care about. As
Hmm.
much as sometimes I would argue that voting doesn't really matter, or that's kind of a whole different rabbit hole to go down. But anyways, this is an instance where it actually proved fruitful and beneficial and positive, ramifications for the industry that we're all here
So
blabbing
to your
about.
point, Ohio voters reject marijuana legalization, despite uh, 65% rejected, and they spent $6.2 million marketing the
Hmm.
measure in 2016. And the voters said uh, a monopoly provision listen to this, proposed constitutional amendment called for allowing only 10 farms to sell wholesale marijuana farms owned by the investors bankrolling the campaign. Like, what? That you don't even need to look for the corruption. It's like right
Yeah,
there. Like,
yeah.
it's legal bribery. Like, it's all it is legal bribery.
There it is, though. Never underestimate the wisdom of Ohio voters. They saw through the smokescreen of slick ads, fancy but deceptive mailings, and phony claims about tax revenues. The next thing Ohio needs to get hip to is New Albany. You know what that is?
Ooh. Yeah,
You're,
that's Peter. That's all the billionaires. That's Wexner and Peter. Well, I don't want this,
yeah.
to
But
be banned, but
anyways,
I'm not going to say Leslie and I'm not going to say Wexner and I'm not going to say Peter who has a teal.
yeah,
So, yeah, but my buddy who's a doctor, his name's Sandeep Palcadetti. He's doing a lot of health stuff. He's going to be on the podcast.
cool.
He does a lot. We've been talking about the endocannabinoid system, and he I'll let him tell the stories more, but he had a choice during the CVID era time frame of, do what you're told or do what was right. And he chose the latter to his
Good
credit.
on him.
And, he's killing it. He's doing great, but he lives right outside New Albany. So
Oh
he's,
no.
yeah, so he's like, that's his clientele almost. So,
Mm,
um, but yeah, also too, to add that, about this 2016, Nick Lachey was like a big investor in that too. So Nick Lachey, Ohio, cannabis. I'm frozen. I like being able to do this in real time.
yeah, do it
It's a
live.
little slow. Look at this.
Farmer boy,
Look
farmer
at this.
boy
Why a
band boy.
former boy bander is bankrolling this hated pot legalization proposal,
Hilarious.
right? Like, what are we doing?
That's awesome.
Um, anyway, enough of that.
He's got enough money from Love Is Blind. He doesn't need weed money.
Yeah, apparently THC burns at 98 degrees, but bump.
But amazing.
Sorry, we're millennials. We got to add some dad jokes in there every now and then. We got a dad on the line here, so
I love him.
um,
I love him.
love them. Everyone loves a good dadder. Um,
But love is
so
not blind. Love is not always blonde, though. With
what's
the shit
next on
coming.
the agenda? Do
I
you
don't know if you want
think
people seeing your Yahoo mail.
I just closed it?
Okay. Um, I don't know, man. We could talk about the stuff that's going on in Texas. We could talk about North
Oh
Carolina.
yeah. Yeah. Um, let's talk about Texas. Um, check this out. Texas ban cannabis in effect. So yeah, if you're watching me do some searches, then maybe try playing around with these kind of searches at your home. That's how you find some good articles. It's a thing.
Yeah, this is what I found.
Is this
Texas
the one you
can't.
were looking at?
This isn't the same. It's the one that's KUT was the one that I had pulled up, but it
So
doesn't
here it
really
is
matter.
right here.
It's all the same stuff.
It's right here. It says new Texas smokable hemp rules are now in effect. And so before I start this article, I was telling Philip before this started that I went to a few smoke shops here right around my place in Austin, Texas. And every, oh, where are you? There you are. Every smoke shop that I went to has no smokables, no D9, no D8, none of the PCH or HCP or, D9 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, anything. It didn't matter. No smokable, no nothing. So it was fascinating.
Crazy.
It was wild because the smoke shop, let's say it's this, three-fourths of it was all smokable pre-rolls and everything. And like the shop just looks like it got robbed or out of business now.
So crazy. Does that
So,
also apply to concentrates too?
so here we
Like
go. We'll read
cartridges?
it. Uh, anything with D9, as long as we'll check. The rules significantly curtail a large part of what has become a booming hemp industry across the state by both banning some products and sharply increasing the cost for hemp businesses to operate. The regulations kick in less than a year after the topic was big issue. It caused a very public rift. They passed a complete ban on all THC, passed both houses, and Abbott signed it
No, he vetoed it.
or vetoed it. He
Yeah,
vetoed it at the
at the
11th
11th hour.
hour. Caused a very public rift between two of the state's most powerful politicians, the governor and the lieutenant governor. And so everyone's like, "Oh, look, they don't have their shit together." And it's like, I think they're having it out with you.
Hmm.
Uh, New regulations issued by the Texas Department of State Health cap the amount of total THC in any smokable products at
Whoa.
0.3% THC, which is hemp,
Yep.
which is the psychoactive ingredient in marijuana. So they're going by the Farm Bill, they're going back to the Farm Bill.
So annoying.
While the form of THC found in marijuana known as Delta 9 was already outlawed, the ban did not occur or did not cover forms of THC that were derived from the hemp plant. That created a loophole that critics said amounted to legalized marijuana in the state without legislative approval. The industry that sprung up around the loophole supports tens of thousands of jobs in the state and drives $4.3 billion in annual revenue. The 0.3% cap pulls some of the most popular smokable products from the store shelves, like pre-rolled joints and smokable flower buds, which made up more than 50% of some stores' inventories. The THC cap does not apply. So it kind of sounds like what I was telling you.
Hmm.
The THC cap does not apply to consumable products like gummies and beverages, as they are regulated by the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, which has yet to issue new regulations. The new regulations also impose significant new costs and fees upon businesses. The fees to license a business that manufactures hemp-derived THC are going from 258 to $10,000 per facility. Wow.
Unreal.
You know what? Did I say five? Better make it a million. Registrations for retail stores that sell it are going from $155 to $5,000, according to the Tribune. In addition, the businesses are now responsible for implementing new labeling, testing, and bookkeeping requirements. Like, okay, I'm all for that, but like that should be just standard operating procedure.
Hmm.
Abbott Patrick brawl over the complete ban. The debate over a complete ban on THC was one of the most high-profile issues in the Texas regular session last year. Highest priorities was also of Pat. I said Dan Patrick,
Hmm.
ESPN, good guy, who's also
Yep.
president of the state Senate. After the bill passed both chambers, opponents waged an intense push for Abbott to issue a veto. They argued if the bill became law, it would force thousands of people out of their jobs and cause billions of dollars in economic losses for the state. They also argued it would harm veterans and others who use THC instead of opioids to treat chronic pain, forcing them to buy the drug dealers to get the same relief.
Correct.
Now, before we keep going on, this is the same argument we hear about everywhere we go, about having access to medical marijuana for veterans and all that stuff. The interesting thing is, play devil's advocate real quick. Let's say you do a loophole, pump people into jobs and say, look, we know what we're doing is a grift, but you can't lose all these jobs because there's so many jobs around it. So now what do? You're kind of trapped. Uh,
Hmm.
Abbott, who did not publicly take a position on the legislation during the session, issued a veto just before the deadline. He said he would call a special session and push lawmakers to pass a bill that would ban the sale of THC to people under 21 and impose more regulations on the industry. Two special sessions failed to produce a new bill that could pass and receive Abbott's support. In September, Abbott issued an executive order on THC that spurred the new regulations now taking effect. So,
The marijuana breathalyzer strikes again. You scroll down and see that?
where?
Scroll down to the bottom articles. The next articles keep going right there.
And how long have I been talking about this? Wow. All right, well, I guess we might as well talk about this while we're at it.
Yeah,
Um,
funny.
but you know that was one of my papers in college was they said what, make an argument one way or another. And I
Hmm.
said the reason why cannabis is not legal yet is because they don't have a breathalyzer.
You can't test for it like
You can't,
on scene.
no, you can't test for it on site.
Yep.
Um, this is interesting that this is happening now. Marijuana breathalyzer is a step closer to coming to the market after the researchers tested the theory using a 3D printer. There have been, here, you want to go ahead and read this?
Uh,
Or you want me to? Is it easier?
no, I can read it. So blah 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 blah. Tested theory using 3D printer. There have been 24 states plus Washington D.C. that have legalized marijuana, including for recreational use, according to the employee screening firm DISA Global Solutions. As the drug becomes more popular, blah 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 blah. Catch 'em driving under the influence of any drug. 2023, it was announced that Emmanuel Alves, professor of forensic science at VCU, it set out with a
VCU.
team of researchers to develop a THC breathalyzer that could deliver results within minutes. Oh, interesting. And differentiate between THC and CBD to reduce false positives. Wow, they get as cannabinoid specific. With this approach, we could reduce the number of accidents caused by impaired drivers, making roads safer for all of us. Good for you. When the device is public, drivers know they can be caught, marijuana, blah, blah, blah. The results of the study were published last month by the Justice Department, which helped fund the research. Of course they did. Researchers used 3D printed test cartridges with fast blue dyes to determine if they could detect the chemicals Delta 9 THC, CBD, and CBN. All three chemicals are found in marijuana, but THC is the
Ooh,
main one
that's
responsible for
interesting. Go
causing
back
high.
to
That
that.
is really interesting. So they can test for Delta 9, THC, CBD, and CBN. I wonder if they can test for like Delta 8, Delta 10, all the different deltas. Probably not. The color analysis showed two primary clusters, one containing CBD and another containing Delta 9, THC, and CBN, suggesting early evidence of hue-based selectivity for certain analytes. According to the study, analytes are substances that are analyzed in a lab test. Overall, this project established foundational data supporting the feasibility of a portable, low-cost, color colorimetric tool for detecting cannabinoids using 3D printed cartridges and readily accessible reagents. Study
Reagents.
read. While researchers acknowledged more testing is needed, they said the study provides a proof of concept framework for future roadside or point of collection testing technologies. The independent is the world's most blah 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 blah. Interesting.
So
Interesting. So now
interesting they're putting that out there.
we're 3D printing breathalyzers now.
Went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Real quick, real quick.
So,
Wild.
I mean, what a great find that we accidentally found right there. I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for a separate video about that. But that was the whole point. That was the whole point of what my argument was that they just need to be able to put people back in jail,
Yep.
so until they can, they're not gonna let them out.
Driving
It's
impaired.
right.
I mean,
Because
then go
the
ahead. Go
fastest
ahead.
man in the water, Michael Phelps, got a DWI on land.
Yep. Yep. Well,
You
then, I
know,
mean, my next question about stuff like this is like, okay, well, but what's the threshold? Like, how can they tell how much is in your system? And also, is it from, you know,
that's a That's a
the
great thing you asked because for anyone that's uh, been watching this channel for a minute, you'll notice we did a video on something called the standard THC unit.
I'm getting learned.
And it's what they've been developing to answer that exact question of,
Differences in complementary with other THC metrics. Yes, rush become increasingly potent, blah, blah, blah.
so basically they're saying, what is the equivalency of one beer, one
Initial research
alcohol,
work.
one drink?
Huh.
Where is it? Let's go to a better one.
Hmm. But now we know that the research paper is readily accessible, though.
Yeah. So I'll post it all. Um,
No. Excuse me.
trying But actually, here we go. You know what? While I got you on the line, let's do this. We'll show you the Cannabis Podcast on a little bit of a delay, but we'll deal with it.
It's all right.
And they talk about like, because everybody that came into the dispensary was like, okay, if I smoke a joint, how many milligrams also is that in an edible? Like, what is one edible equivalent in the smoking? And obviously, that's almost impossible to figure out. Um, right here, it's called what is considered a standard joint unit. Or THC unit. Welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast. And in this video, we're going to take a look at something called the Standard Joint Unit. Yes, that is a real thing I'm not making up. But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to help get this out to everybody. Alcohol, 8 ounces of liquor, 7. There's different types of alcohol. So beer, that's what we talk about. It goes into
Mm-hmm.
one standard drink, 12 ounces of beer, all that stuff. If you've been a bartender, one drink an hour kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're getting into that with cannabis. Um, where is it right here? Every place has its difference. You're buying something that's 1,000 milligrams or 500 milligrams. So yeah, go check out that. That's a great question.
Cool.
Um, hold on, let me get to this. However, their blood alcohol level will still be up, and another person could smoke 5 joints totally. Right here, I believe. The words pipes, bongs, blunts, dabbing, and vapes. I didn't know I'd ever live in that world. Let's continue. Other proposals cannot account for heterogeneity in THC concentrations among different cannabis products. Similar to alcohol units, we argue that standard cannabis units should reflect the quantity of primary active pharmacological constituents. That is a big sentence. Anyway, that's why nobody
Yes, it
reads
is.
these things except scientists.
Yeah.
So also too,
You.
when you go on the back, so go check out that video that answers your question. Great freaking question. Uh, ironic you
Great,
asked it.
great that you have content that answers it.
And yeah, actually, you know what? I could just I could just freaking click on well,
Yes.
I thought I could. There we go. Standard drink size, but CDC, it's all there. What is, yeah. Oh, no, that's just a fact I included.
There
Oh.
you go. Huh.
Standard joint unit. That is a thing.
Boom.
That's a real thing.
Methodology results and then same all secondary studies including
So, so results, 492 participants donated 315 valid joints. Donators were average 29, mostly men, single with secondary studies, contain a median of 6.56 milligrams of delta 9 THC. Now, that's a joint, a standard joint contained an average of 6.5 milligrams. So one edible bite is 10 milligrams.
Yeah,
So technically, edibles are heavier than joints.
but the system processes it differently, and
Exactly.
the effects are completely different. Well,
Hmm.
completely ish.
Yep. And it said conclusion, consistent delta 9 THC content in joints led to a standard joint unit of 7 milligrams of delta 9. The integer number was closest to the median values. I think I gotta fucking, there it is. Um, sorry, I couldn't read it.
Okay.
Um, one standard joint unit equals 0.25 grams of cannabis. That's about right. And 7 milligrams of delta 9 THC. For
Ew.
CBD, only hashish standard joint unit contain relevant levels. So
Smoke some skinny
CBD
joints,
can't
bro.
really do anything.
That's crazy. It's cool that they're doing this kind of research, though.
Dude, this is the stuff that just blows my mind. Like,
Yeah, no, this is dope.
I really beg, everybody should check out this article, like this video that we have. It's pretty dope. It's no, well, no pun intended. But but this is all the stuff they're going to be using to base
Yep.
all everything going forward. Uh, and that's the thing, that's why I talk about also every state mostly has 10 milligrams per dose as their limit, and then 100
Hmm.
milligrams per package is their limit.
Yeah.
That's if it's an edible. Concentrates are different, like tinctures are way different. They have their own methodology, testing everything.
Mm.
So they go by different standards. But I don't even know how I came across this, but this just blew my mind
Yeah,
because
dude, that's cool.
that's like the number one question that everybody asks is, what is the equivalency? And then
Or
if
like
they,
even just how is it measured? Because like again, like kind of going back to where this whole question and rabbit hole stem from, it's like if they have the breathalyzer and you can test for, the presence of cannabinoids, how are they testing quantifiably how much is in your system? Like there isn't like it's not like a blood alcohol level where it's like you blow up over a point oh 0.08, you're drunk or like legally drunk. You're impaired enough that you shouldn't be driving, so to speak.
Mhm.
But then like is there going well, inevitably, I think they're forging down the path that inevitably there will be that equivalence in the cannabis space, or that's what they're aiming at least. Who knows if that's actually a viable possibility? I don't know.
It has to be, or else they wouldn't be, you know, I mean, if you look at the patterns and like the things developing on different scales, okay, you have a breathalyzer being developed here in beta testing, almost ready to go. You have the standard joint unit being like universally accepted by doctors saying this is what this level is. All you have to do is program it into that 3D printed
Yeah, but at the same time, like if I get the like the standard joint unit, like I see that as a metric, sure. But in terms of like blood cannabis
sure,
content, like that still doesn't seem like
like
you'd be able,
time,
huh?
like the time, like how long it's like when did you consume the cannabis that's in your
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like, are you impaired? Like, did you
like I
smoke a
smoked
joint?
yesterday, bro, you
Right.
know,
Exactly. Because we know that, cannabis stays in your hair for like as long as you
months.
have your hair,
Yeah,
basically. It stays in your blood for I think it's what, 30 days, 60 days, something like that.
everybody's different, but usually they've been that now that's an interesting study that I'm going to dive into soon because just based on personal experience, we do know it's based on what does THC stay? It stores in your body fat.
Hmm.
Okay. So everybody's different. Yes, if
Yep.
you're a huge lazy person that's sitting on the couch, not working out, not doing anything, it's probably going to stay in your system if you're smoking all day, every day for a month or so.
Right.
I personally, not lying, when I was in California, I had to go take a drug test for a job, which a restaurant job, go figure. Um, and not going to say
Good
which
joke.
one, Lux Hotel.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I was like, oh shit, like I smoke a lot. So I stopped smoking that day. On like a Monday, I stopped smoking. I hit the bowl I had one bowl on Saturday and then went another week, took a drug test that Monday and passed.
Hmm.
So 2 weeks for me.
Interesting.
Because so and I was a habitual smoker before then.
I mean, at least, but again, like this kind of goes to exactly what we're talking about. The testing of the presence of that chemical in your urine, in your system, is different than an instantaneous result test on site or on location or whatever that a
Hmm.
breathalyzer provides. But it's also, again, why even when they're talking about alcohol breathalyzers, you have breathalyzers on site, but then once you go to the station, and unfortunately, I do know this from personal experience, they also give you a subsequent breathalyzer with a way bigger, more accurate machine. And sometimes your blood alcohol content may or may not be higher than what it was on site.
Cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah, we won't go into that personal anecdote. Anyways, point of me sharing all that is to say that, like, again, the viability of being able to test for the presence in a quantifiable amount to indicate intoxicated level,
Hmm.
I still think it's a ways off.
Hmm. Well, plus two, smoking now, ingesting edibles takes a little bit longer to kick in, but when you
And it hits you
smoke, it's
and
in
it
your
hits you harder.
bloodstream like immediately.
Yeah.
What?
As I said, and it hits you hella hard, way
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah, it just like smacks you. But as opposed to drinking where it's a delayed effect, you
Hmm.
know,
Has to
uh,
metabolize.
cannabis is like immediately, like the second you take a puff, it's right there. I'll show you. No, just
And
kidding.
now I'm high.
I don't do it on camera. I'll do it right off camera. But that's why I love reading these articles because these are questions everybody has
Hmm.
that now finally we know when was this paper? 2017. So almost, Jesus,
Almost 10 years,
that's almost a
almost 10 years.
decade
But
old.
again, that just kind of reaffirms what I'm saying. Is like if we're still this far out, that breathalyzer thing just came out. What did I say? Like the past couple of days. This paper is from 9 years ago almost. The two, I don't know when or how they will converge in being able to actually say like, okay, your cannabis levels in your system right now based on what you must have ingested recently within the past couple hours is quantifiable. I don't think that's still in the cards
Well,
yet.
and also too, what's the,
The
I
threshold,
mean,
the
I
toxicity,
guess come to think of it, what did they determine? I guess like,
how they come up with 0.08.
yeah, I guess I
Exactly.
never,
Exactly. Where is that? It's this like established benchmark
yeah.
from who knows. I mean, this would be an interesting thing to look up. Like talk about doing it live. Like where did that? I feel like that's like a ChatGPT question. Where did the blood alcohol level get established?
See, people, you're gonna learn how to Google
Yeah. History of
AI
U.S. blood
mode.
alcohol. Only established in the United States around 1983. It's only been since the 80s.
That actually kind of makes sense.
Interesting.
Oh, the first laws against drinking while
Yeah, you couldn't drive your
intoxicated were not
couldn't
in New
drive your
York in
model.
19.
Yeah, couldn't drive your Model T. First legal limit, 0.15. Yeah, I would have gotten away with it. It was still 1938. National 0.08 standard. Bill Clinton. Of course he fucking did.
Of Bro,
Fuck you, dude.
I'm so tired of these people.
I fucking hate that guy.
So tired of these people. So you get to go get massages and hang out with all these people, and never mind.
Yeah.
And I can't just smoke a joint. I
And,
did not inhale.
yeah. Get painted in your blue dress.
I did
Fucking
not have sexual relations with that
asshole.
woman.
Yeah. And neither did he pervert, or neither
So,
did he perv on my wife at any point.
hey,
Motherfucker.
really?
Yeah. It's a different story. But yes, Hillary was not
Um,
stoked.
of course. So developed at Indiana University. 1953, invented the
Balloon, a
breathalyzer.
chemical solution to estimate intoxication. Breathalyzer, more portable, accurate device
Wow.
immediately. There we go. Are you researching
Right.
this for a historical project?
Well,
Yes.
so Bill Clinton, um, that was right when was getting out of office.
Oh,
So that was
interesting.
2000. That was his
Yeah.
last year in office.
It's like what Obama should have done legalizing weed, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Dipshit.
Don't get me started on that guy.
Yeah.
The
Oh, the
but
bombs he dropped.
that was part of Bill Clinton's initiative to put everybody in jail.
Yep. That's when the prison bureau was booming or starting to boom.
That was his deal to not get him. Well, he got impeached, but that was his deal to stay in office.
Yeah. Hillary talking about the super predators and shit. I remember all
So
that.
cool little
Anyways, that
fun
was a
little
fun.
live we went down right
Yeah, that was
there
a fun little
on the standard joint
side
unit
quest.
and driving while impaired. And but that's a great, these are really important questions that, you know, if you're going to be treated like alcohol, you have to have the
Yeah.
same standard operating procedure, you
But
know.
this is like the crazy thing about this though, Brett, is like they're not the same.
Yeah,
Like
they're very different.
they're like it's
They're very
complete
different.
like anybody that's ever like I don't know, this is gonna take me down like a whole like psychedelics tangent, but
Oh,
anybody that's tried cannabis likely has also tried alcohol. And I would say a large
but not the
majority
other way around.
true, which is a whole different
Right.
angle
That's a whole
angle and
different rabbit hole.
perspective. But I would say also that like those same like kind of Venn diagrams of people are also likely to be ones that are willing to experiment with other intoxicating substances
Hmm.
and would so easily be able to like without a shadow of a doubt say none of these substances make me feel the exact same as the other. Even cannabis itself, like, you smoke different strains, you're getting different effects. Like, sure, you get high in, a similar way, but like, and then this goes into like the indica sativa discussion, which again is kind of a weird rabbit hole with many tangents coming off of it. Anyways, the I don't know, the effects of these substances on the body and on the brain and on your motor functions and your ability to think and cognition and like all this kind of stuff. Anybody that has tried weed and alcohol, I guarantee would say I was thinking clearer high than I ever was drunk.
Hmm.
Even if you like throughout but were you the same level of intoxicated, drunk, and high when you're making that comparison? Sure. You know,
Hmm.
it's almost like saying like, okay, I'm gonna take 100 milligram edible and I'm gonna chug a bottle of liquor the next day and see which one makes me feel more fucked up or like less able to think. I don't know.
Yep.
Everything in
That's what it is.
moderation. Everything in moderation.
So while we were talking, let's have fun and just full send it, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. There we go. That's the best one.
This is kind of where I'm going with all this whole channel. So spoiler alert. Um,
You're gonna hear more about this in the
you're going to
future.
hear more about this coming in the future. I don't want to do that. Stop it. I don't want to download memes every time. This is dumb. 1974 study at the Medical College of Virginia funded by the NIH aimed to find evidence that marijuana damages the immune system. Instead, researchers found that THC slowed the growth of lung and breast cancer and a virus-induced leukemia in mice. This discovery was quickly shut down by the DEA, which deemed the study and all further cannabis tumor research as, quote, historical medical crime scene. The study's findings were never replicated, and the DEA's actions have been criticized for censorship and suppression of scientific research. That is absolutely fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, it
People who
is.
didn't know
Yes.
that.
Yes, yes, yes.
So let's find that paper. Let's watch this in real time, y'all. Google's better than that. For this, let's do this. Medical College of Virginia, NIH 1974. Oh,
Mhm.
wrong one. 1974 cannabis study cancer.
PubMed, there you go.
Hmm.
Is that the right one?
Well, I mean, this is just saying the use of cannabis in supportive care and treatment of brain tumor.
No,
I don't know what year this was,
no,
but
that's not the right one. There's
I don't want that same one. Damn it.
we found this before though.
Yeah, I gotta
There.
find it. What?
I think that's it. That was it.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways,
No, this is it. Prolong the lives of the test animals by as much as 50%. The compound, other members of the cannabinoid family also act as an immunosuppressant, heading off the host's natural defense mechanisms that tend to reject such things, such as organ transplants and skin grafts. The MCV research scientists believe, as does this doctor, that the cannabinoids block tumor growth by inhibiting DNA dot dot dot. Read further.
hey, your monies.
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
in case people didn't know that, that's why I want to find that paper. I'm gonna have to find that paper before I do
I
anything
know.
on
We,
it.
I know we brought it up. We is it bullshit? Jesus.
But it was Nixon's. It was oh yeah, no. Okay, so the Huffington Post actually did a story on it. That's what I was looking for. Because Huffington Post, a lot of people trust the Huffington Post.
Yep. I don't know
So,
why. I don't know why, but
right.
I
What your
digress.
government knows about cancer and isn't telling you, oh my God, why is no journalism free anymore?
because they all need money.
This is wild. So we can just read this little small square right here. Um, in 2007, hold on, I want to make sure we start it. Okay.
There you go.
In fact, the first experiment documenting pot's potent anti-cancer effects took place in 1974 at the Medical College of Virginia at the behest of federal bureaucrats. The results of that study, reported in 1974 Washington Post newspaper feature, were that marijuana's primary psychoactive component, THC, quote, slowed the growth of lung cancers, breast cancers, and a virus-induced leukemia in laboratory mice and prolonged their lives by as much as 36%. We heard 50 in the other one. So you know what? I'll go with 50. I like the higher number. Despite these favorable preliminary findings, eventually published the following year in the Journal of National Cancer Institute, the U.S. government officials refused to authorize any follow-up research until conducting a similar, though secret, preclinical trial in the mid-1990s. That study, conducted by the U.S. National Toxicology Program to the tune of $2 million, concluded that mice and rats administered high doses of THC over long periods had greater protection against malignant tumors than untreated controls. Funny how that works.
Mm-hmm.
However, rather than publicize their findings, the US government shelved the results, which only became public after a draft copy of its findings were leaked to the medical journal AIDS Treatment News, which in turn forwarded the study to the national media. In the years since, uh, in the years since the completion of the national toxicology trial, the U.S. government has yet to authorize a single additional study examining the drug's potential anti-cancer properties. Federal permission is necessary in order to conduct clinical research on marijuana because its illegal status is Schedule 1. Now that barrier, updated, is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Fortunately, in the past 10 years, scientists overseas have generously picked up where U.S. researchers so abruptly left off, reporting that cannabinoids can halt the spread of numerous cancer cells, including prostate cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, pancreatic cancer, and brain cancer. Wow. Uh, a 2006 patient trial published in the British Journal of Cancer even reported that the intracranial administration of THC was associated with reduced tumor cell proliferation in humans with advanced glioblastoma. That's a lot of big words to say. The brain administration of weed was associated with smaller tumor cells. And so yeah, that's basically what that means. This is an amazing article that everybody should be aware of. While
Yes.
writing earlier this year in the scientific journal Expert Review, Italian researchers reiterated cannabinoids have displayed a great potency in reducing glioma tumor growth. They appear to be selective anti-tumoral agents as they kill glioma cells without affecting the viability of non-transformed counterparts. Not one mainstream media outlet, not one, reported their findings. Perhaps now they might. What possible advancements in the treatment of cancer may have been achieved over the past 34 years had they chosen? Okay, so anybody that says they like you, you're wrong. So
Wild.
there you go. Spoiler alert. This is kind of, last show, this is the conclusion. Weed kills cancer. So,
Mic drop.
and I don't know if I ever told you the story, but I had Wild Walt on, my buddy, on one of my initial episodes around the time you did your first one. And it's one of my brothers, well, brothers, but one of my brothers too from home. And their father died of cancer, and he had cancer for years. And the doctor, when he was diagnosed, said he's like stage 4 or 5, whatever the last one is. And they're like, you have
Hmm.
maybe months to live. It's so advanced. And they said the only reason we can't figure out why you're not dead already. And he said, I smoke a ton of weed. And he said, that's probably the only reason. And he said, and I was like, the only thing I could surmise was, okay, it probably just formed a ball of wax around it and like didn't let it grow. And the doctor
Yeah.
basically kind of said the same thing. He's like, it kind of metastasized around it, it found the bad cells and kind of just was like making it, it wasn't necessarily shrinking it, but it wasn't allowing it to grow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the story about the girl that had the brain tumor, right? It was out of a lemon that shrank.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
think so.
I
For
don't,
the
I mean,
people, tell the,
again, don't quote me 1,000,000% on this, but I feel like I remember hearing about a woman. It was no, not a woman. It was a younger girl. I think she was like in her teens or 20s, um, diagnosed with uh, similarly like stage 4, stage 5 brain cancer.
mm,
It was a tumor the size of a lemon that was like
mm,
sitting on some like crazy part of her brain. So she was like starting to like have like physiological mobility
oh my
impairments
God.
and started to just take like really high level like concentrates like Rick Simpson oil type stuff every day, multiple times a day, and
RSO.
shrank her tumor, and then it made it like to the point where it like disappeared. It went away. So,
You know what? How much time you got?
uh, I probably gotta wrap it up here shortly because I just got a message that I gotta respond to
Okay.
shortly.
So we'll end it with another little encore. So we're talking about what year was that? 1974 that they cured it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about the single treaty on narcotics, the single convention of narcotics drugs in 1961.
Brought to you by the United Nations.
Are you aware of this?
No.
Hmm. Amended by the 1972 protocol amending the single of narcotics. So, final act of the United Nations Conference for the adoption of a single convention of narcotic drugs. Oh shit, don't want to do that. No, what did I do? I just messed it up.
Mm.
No, no. Okay, there we go. That's better.
Doing it live.
Do it. Fuck, we're doing it live. Okay. The Economic and Social Council of the United Nations, by resolution, decided to convene in accordance with Article 60, blah, 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 blah. So all these, the following 73 states were represented, and they all agreed to all of this. So basically, this is all the countries that matter in the world, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Control F. Let's control F, and we'll do marijuana. Actually, let's do cannabis.
Cannabis.
Ah, there we are. So cannabis right there. Control of cannabis, Article 28, right here, where it says cannabis means flowering, fruiting tops of the cannabis plant, any plant of the genus cannabis, cannabis resin, cocoa, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So this is part of illicit trafficking, poppy, import, export, opium, opium pop, all of this. Production means separation of opium, cocoa. Okay. So the International Treaty on Narcotics banned, let's just do this, was consolidated previous treaties to control the cultivation, production, supply, and trade of narcotics all across the world. Oh, Harry Anslinger was very big in this one as well.
Shocker.
So this is what controls the whole schedulization of drugs for the whole world. Nobody knows about this little single convention. It's still in effect, still to this day. And that's what,
Hmm.
however, if the United Nations breaks up, in
Those
theory, it's a
are,
free for
yeah,
all.
moot. Yeah, moot point. Interesting.
Um,
Sorry for the plane. I live by the airport.
this is crazy, right? So I downloaded this, I read this a bunch. All measures of control, parties shall adopt any special measures. Like, so this
Wow.
is, yeah, this is why they couldn't just willy-nilly, legalize it in their country. Because it's like, why couldn't you just like Malta legalized it? Luxembourg legalized it. And when you look at that, I see I see countries that aren't going to get in trouble.
Hmm.
Now, why wouldn't they get in trouble? I don't know. You tell me, but Malta is a interesting place to look at. Um,
Knights of Malta.
Knights of Malta as a thing. I
Hmm.
was just going to say that. So, so yeah,
Cool,
the
man.
that's another thing I wanted to do a video on at some point. The single convention on narcotics. So people got a little bit of a fun little
Dude, this was a good one. This
deep
was a
dive
fun.
rabbit hole on this one, and you got a couple things you can Google the Texas, you want to go join the draft, you can't smoke weed and get out of it anymore.
Yeah,
Although I would almost say, and never mind, I'm not going to say it, but if you're going to join, at least get a signing bonus instead of get drafted. Um,
yeah, that's true.
that kind of thing. But I do thank you for your time, and this was definitely fun.
Yeah,
And
this was a good one.
thank you for everyone around the world and the country watching. Let us know where you're watching from. Please stay safe out there and stay blessed with everybody and talking to your friends and family. And we need each other and cannabis more than other ever right now. And hopefully the world legalizes weed, smokes a joint, and just chills the fuck out a little
Amen.
bit. So, what else? Where can people find you? And what else would you like them to know? Oh, by the way, Lost Century. Go watch it. Go
Yeah,
watch The Lost Century on Amazon. It's
go
fun.
check that out. Yeah, I mean, trying to get some stuff cooking, doing a little revamp of all the interweb presence because I'm a poor custodian of my own brand and reputation, but whatever. I figured that the work speaks for itself, we'll say. But yeah, go check out some of the movies. You can find them at my website, intelligentmedia.com, ntlgntmedia.com. And yeah, I mean, dude, it's always real fun talking to you about all this stuff. I definitely feel smarter and more informed than I did when we started this conversation. Even though we had a bunch of other stuff we were going to talk about, I'm very excited and happy with kind of where this traversed to. So, yeah, man, like you said, like the world needs to smoke some weed, and I'd say explicitly the leadership of some of the countries and military top brass just take a chill pill, guys. We don't need to be exterminating people, committing genocides, or fulfilling some sort of weird eugenicist kind of future where
And everybody
only
needs to know that this is the flag of peace. This is a civil flag of peace. Well, the flag we operate under right now is a wartime flag, and it's the only flag we've ever had. The blue is the dark. I prefer the light a little bit more. I like it. It's a little bit more inviting, a little bit more not dirty, I guess, if that's
yeah.
even possible anymore. But I do, what we're gonna say, finish it off.
No, I was just gonna say, we're in a battle for humanity at this point. I know that sounds kind of hyperbolic in some regards, but I
Yeah.
mean, you know, keep be good to your neighbors, be good to your loved ones, spend time with your friends and family. That's like the most important thing that's gonna hold everybody down, keep them sane,
What
and be
the
the support
world
system.
needs now
Is
are
love
buds,
and
sweet
buds.
buds.
That's right.
So
That's right.
until next time, stay blessed and don't forget to tip your bud tenders.